Hey everyone, this is Levinrad. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about wholesaling, assignment of contracts, and double closing. So you understand the differences between the two, because a lot of people get confused by this, right? So the quickest, simplest, easiest way for a wholesaler to flip a property is called assignment of contract. And the way that assignment of contract works is you sign a purchase contract to buy a property, and then once you have that property under contract, you then go and assign it or transfer your rights to that purchase contract to a third party, right? So what's great about this is you don't have to show up at the closing table. The person you're selling the property to is the one who shows up, and you also don't have to put up the cash because they are the ones that are funding the deal. All right, so in order to utilize this tactic, all you need to really do is have three key words on your purchase contract, and those key words are and, or, assigns, right? So if your name's Jack Smith, you're looking to buy a property at 123 Main Street, simply put in the purchase contract Jack Smith and or assigns, and then that allows you to assign the rights to that purchase contract to someone else, right? So the advantage of this, as I mentioned, is the fact that you don't have to show up at the closing, which is awesome because you could be sitting on the beach somewhere, right, getting wired by the title company for your assignment fee. So you don't have to show up at the closing. That's number one. And number two, you are basically getting your deposit back and you don't have to do anything. So you don't have to show up at the closing, you don't have to sign any documents, you don't have to put up any cash. So that's the advantage of it. So let's talk a little bit about the disadvantage of it. Well, one disadvantage is if you make a huge spread. Let's say you're making $50,000 on a deal, your end buyer, the person you're flipping the property to, may see that on the HUD. They will see that on the HUD if it's on the HUD, and it says, you know, purchase price and there's an assignment fee to so-and-so for $50,000. That may raise some eyebrows, and then you run the risk that they come back and try and renegotiate with you last minute at the closing table and say, I don't want to pay you a $50,000 fee, I'm okay paying $25,000. All right, so what I recommend is if you got an assignment fee above, let's say $10,000, that you consider double closing your deal. All right, now another big reason why you want to consider double closing, and we double close almost all of our deals, right? And this is because right now, towards the end of 2021, you're going to be seeing an abundance of foreclosures, short sales, bank-owned properties coming on the market. And here's what you need to understand. You cannot use the words and or assigns on a purchase contract if you're buying from a bank. So that means foreclosures, short sales, REOs are out. In addition to that, you cannot use and or assigns if you're buying on online auction sites like hubzu.com and auction.com. And you can also not use and or assigns if you're buying from Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac or HUD. So basically, a lot of bargain basement properties that are going to be coming down the pipeline, you're not going to be able to use those words and or assigns. But there's one other additional reason, and I learned this recently at my mastermind, and that is that regulators are starting to scrutinize wholesalers. They're starting to look into this field and say, hey, is this okay that you've got people that are not licensed, don't have a real estate license, they're making all this money flipping these houses and they don't even take possession of the houses. So one way to keep yourself kosher is to basically double close, meaning close on the property, and then once you own it, you turn around and sell it to someone else. And if you don't have the funds to do that, you simply borrow the funds from a transactional funding company. All right, so assignment of contract versus double close. Advantage of assignment of contract is you don't have any closing costs, you don't have to show up at the closing table, you don't have to come out with any funds. All right, disadvantage of assignment of contract is you cannot use it for Fannie Mae, for Freddie Mac, HUD, bank-owned properties, short sales, foreclosures. All right, the advantages of a double close is you can use it on any transaction. You can do it with Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. Fannie Mae does have a limitation of 20% above purchase price. You can do it on HUD properties. You can do it on the online auction sites like Hubzu and auction.com, and on any foreclosure, short sale, and bank-owned property. And as I mentioned previously, we're going to be seeing a lot more of those towards the end of this year and the beginning of next year. So you definitely want to learn how to utilize a double close strategy, but you also want to know how to use the assignment of contract strategy too, because if you're doing direct to seller marketing, where it's just you and the seller is an individual, in other words, the seller is not a bank, then an assignment of contract can often be perfect for you, and it allows you to close, get paid, and not have to show up at the closing table. All right, so hope that helps you guys. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you get notification every time I upload a new video. Appreciate it if you hit that like button, and I will see you on the next video.